evening, ladies and gentlemen, and in a change to a regular scheduled thing, we've decided to mash it up a little bit. And tonight we're going to be talking and waxing political. We'll be talking about Viri, we'll be talking about Move, and possibly even Theta and some American shenaniganery. And hell, I might even wax. Roll 'em.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say hello, vaportrails.tv.
Hello.
Vaportrails.tv.
Vaportrails.tv.
Thank you, Mummy.
Oh, you're very welcome.
That's my mummy.
Should I get the magic sponge? That's a keeper. Try that again. Oh man. No two.
And that's a wrap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Drips and Tips. And with me tonight is my special guest co-host, Mr. Decivapor.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're supposed to go, and we're live.
Oh, and we're live.
Thank you, Mr. Decivapor, better known as the David Dawn. Now, bit of an interesting one tonight. We have a guest, was the thing that who we do, which is our very own, I've forgotten his name now, Liam Bryant from VIP. Liam, unmute yourself. There we go. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
How you doing, fella? You all right?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Excellent stuff. Now, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing, what you plan to do, and why we have got you here?
Sure, yeah. We've, for anyone that doesn't know yet, although I doubt that's many people, we've started a political party. We're registered with the Electoral Commission, and we've launched a crowdfunding site, and that's going very well. And so we will be able to stand as a candidate in Kingswood in Bristol
Ooh,
in the general election.
that's not too far from here, actually. Might have to take a saunter over and do some VT with you one day.
Yeah, just down the road, and you're very welcome.
Yeah, I'll certainly take you up on that. It's not even half-hour drive away. So, the plan of action is what exactly? Should you get into power, for example?
Andy,
Yes, darling.
we're not going to get elected.
Okay, so
Our plan of action is to try and get the word out about the TPD, basically. The only reason Vapes in Power was formed was because of the advertising ban in the TPD, and we think as a political party that we'll be able to talk and advocate for e-cigs where people that make them and sell them won't be able to. And so standing as a candidate will allow me to hopefully get the word out about the TPD and about the state of e-cigs at the moment.
So essentially just using it as like a giant megaphone then, really.
That is the plan, yes.
David, you had some questions, Chief.
Well, yes, I think it's a damn good idea, because the attendant publicity for something like this, you've just got to look at the kind of publicity that Screaming Lord Such got every year. Such got such good publicity, so that's excellent. Tell me a little bit about the constituency you're standing in, Liam. Who's the incumbent there? Who are the other candidates there? And are you going to be able to score any points in conversation with them?
Well, the standing MP is a local boy called Chris Skidmore, He's a nice chap. I took my collection of e-cigs down to see him and explained to him a little bit about what was going on, and he was very professional. He's a very good constituency MP. He got in last time after not a massive swing away from Labour, though. So it is possible that it might swing back. So it is, I think, on Labour's battle list, or list of seats they want to win. It's number 41, which is actually pretty near the top when you look at the polls and things like that. So one thing that all the candidates will take notice of is that, hey, vapers care enough about what's going on to put forward a candidate, and hopefully me standing as a candidate will make them all pause for thought and look into e-cigs a bit more.
Interestingly, if I may, Labour are really, really pushing locally. I remember one weekend not that long ago, one of the members of my group was harping on about Labour really pushing in Worcester city centre. And so I noticed it, had a little saunter out on my lunch break, and they were literally everywhere. It was literal sea of red. So I'm just wondering if they're going to be doing the same in Bristol then.
I haven't seen anything locally, actually. We've had the only people that have been around canvassing so far have been the Conservatives, and I haven't seen anything in the centre of Bristol. But to be fair, I don't go down that way that often, so I couldn't tell you. Andy.
If it's on Labour's battle list, they'll probably target it for the last month before the election rather than too much earlier. That's their normal modus operandi, to get out there quite soon before the election, or a short time before the election, so that what they've got to say is more memorable. Have you, Liam, as yet been invited to any sort of multi-party conversations? Is anything like that happening in your area?
Well, no, because we haven't yet raised the deposit. We haven't yet been able to submit our papers in. So although we've told the local paper and things like that we're standing, our name isn't yet down on the list of candidates.
Right. How close are you to achieving the deposit on the crowdfunding side? We've got pretty much our deposit, and we can send in our papers, within the next week. That's that's the next job.
So
okay.
You've raised the funds in question then?
Well, we're on 400 and something, and we're asking for 1,500. So 500 is for the deposit, and then we want to do a mailing as well. So there's 39,000 households in Kingswood that we'll get the postage for, but we still obviously have to produce and print the leaflets, things like that. So, I mean, just that. I mean, just getting that bit of paper, laying out the facts about e-cigs and the TPD into that many houses, that's a good thing in itself. Sorry, and to answer your question, yeah, we've got the money for the deposit. We haven't got any of the rest of it yet, but...
So it is going to be an ongoing process then. It's Indiegogo, isn't it, you're crowdfunding through?
It's a 30-day campaign, and we're on day 3 now.
Could we drop that link into chat, please? Person with the link itself. So, as a point of interest, do you think the take-up, at least in terms of listening to what you've got to say about e-cigs, is going to be particularly positive? Or even negative?
Well, the first thing I did was I went round my local vape shops, and there's actually 3 in Kingswood. I think Bristol is pretty well served these days. And of those 3, 2 were helping me with the FVI before, so they were, fairly clued up about what's going on. And the third one is a story that we have heard many times. The manager did have a little bit of an idea that some political things were happening. He seemed to think it was more about tax. He did know the date was May 2016, but he didn't know any of the details.
That's quite a specific thing to know, though, really, isn't it?
It is.
The actual date of implementation.
Yeah, so he's picked up on something, but hasn't really delved into it. But none of the customers in any of the shops, it was a surprise to them, to all of them. And the response was 100% supportive and really good.
fantastic comment from chat just there. Wow, a prospective politician that will actually return to the question and answer it. So I think that's a bit of a big up, actually, Liam.
Well, cheers, Rob.
Dave, you got anything else?
No, well, yes and no. Yes, but I mean, it does sadden me when I find that people that are running vape shops think it's all about tax, and they probably have not one iota of a clue of what's not going to be there come May the 20th next year. It does get to me, does that? But I'm interested more really to hear how Liam is going to go about the campaigning for this, and what kind of publicity do you think can be generated by actually standing and doing this? Because I think there's an awful lot of mileage to be gained here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to try whatever we can, and any ideas are welcome as well. I mean, we're going to try with the local papers, but we're also trying with the national papers. I mean, it's just standing for a candidate in Kingswood is fine, but really that's not our goal, is it? That won't really change that much. So, you know, we'll be sending things out and getting in touch with people that we know have an interest in. We've got the names of all the journalists who have written things about e-cigs, and you know, we'll just be trying as hard as we can to get our voice out there.
Have you thought about... Go on, Dave.
Sorry, Andy, go on after you.
I was going to say, have you thought about televised stuff? I mean, even locally. I mean, the local news coverage on at least Central, the local ITV station, is pretty particular on local news stories. Have you thought about that at all?
We hadn't specifically considered it, Andy, but it is definitely on our to-do list now. Thank you.
Well, the big thing about this is that all of the TV stations are required to give balanced coverage. So if they interview a Tory and a Lib Dem and a Labour and a Green, they've got to interview you as well, Liam.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're certainly aware of that sentence, and we won't hold our breath, but we will put ourselves out there and we will see how it pans out in practice. But we do know that is meant to be an obligation of theirs.
I do so hope that they take it really, really seriously, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the footage. I think it's a fabulous idea.
I just kind of hope it happens on the day that I hook up with Liam, and I'll be like this in the background. Oh yeah, it's me. Oh yeah. I won't do that, Liam. I promise.
I was going to say, we know he's not intending to get elected, but let's not scratch it all together, Andy.
No, I won't do that. Unless it's on a fluff piece about, I don't know, some piglet in shorts. In which case I'll be going for it, but, you know.
It's a bit early for the annual cows getting drunk on the cider apples story, so...
So, in terms of, let's use the term going for it. I'm presuming you've got all your legislature at least to hand. I'm presuming that you've got a good plan of attack.
What do you mean, Andy?
Well, I mean, you're standing as a member of Parliament.
Yeah.
Right. In the past, we've spoken about it before. Obviously, I've slept since, and you know, I'm fairly busy. I've forgotten what was said. So you've made the decision to stand as a member of Parliament. Will you be talking to other party members, Labour, Lib Dem, Green, Von Straven, Looney, if they still exist? Labour, I've said Labour, haven't I? All the rest of them. Will you be going around each one of them and having conversations with the?
Yeah. I mean, I think that is one of the main important things that might come out of it, is having all the other parties aware that vapers care enough about this issue to do this. I mean, it's not a normal thing, really, people setting up political parties and just standing for election. It does happen, but it happens for issues where there is strong feeling, and we will be letting all the other parties know that strong feeling exists.
One question that arises to my mind thinking about that, going around to all the other parties and talking to them, will you be specifically asking them, have your constituents been talking to you about this?
That sounds like a good question.
I think it's a very valid question myself. I mean, in the
I mean,
past,
I know you, Andy. You're more really of a political animal than I am, and you've been more involved in political organisations than I have. So.
well, it's no secret that I've been a Red for a long time, but obviously since the advent of all this sort of stuff has started, when I started vaping 2 years ago and discovered VaporTrails.tv and discovered the likes of Linda McCavin's plans, obviously that changed not my political views. I'm still socialist. You know, cut me in half and I say social justice warrior and all that silliness. But it has soured my opinion of a party I was in love with for a long, long time. Now, I know Marco's interviewed Linda in the past, and obviously we saw the resurrection of that particular interview last night. Now, I was making my dinner last night whilst watching the show, and is it Holland or Denmark where they're looking at early adoption?
Holland have done a pre-TPD thing, and Denmark are doing an early actual TPD thing in November, I think.
And of course, we did the reflection where Lynn's like, "Oh, we're not trying to ban them. No, we're not." So, will you be using like that sort of argument? I mean, I know I've actually had a bit of a tete-a-tete, shall we say, with a local MEP some time ago now. In my frustration of his ignorance on the matter, how will you tackle such issues? Because I mean, I fluffed it completely off the bat. I really, really cocked it up and probably did more harm than good. But in my defence at the time, I didn't really know quite enough of what I was talking about to do such a thing, even with my experience in the political scene.
The fact is, though, Andy, is that they are all banned. You know, all the devices, all the tanks we use, for sure, are all banned. And there's no getting around that. And it doesn't matter how many times someone tells you it isn't a de facto ban, you can just point at something and say, will this be banned? It's quite a straightforward conversation.
The question is, will they give you a straightforward answer? You're going to tackle that to make them realise that what they're looking at, frankly, I'm probably going to get told off by the chiefs here, a load of BS.
Well, who knows, Andy? I mean, I can't say, can I? All I can say is what we will present to them. I mean, our hope is they take it on board, get away with it. We can just try.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting very sort of secretly excited about this, and in fact, I think me and you are going to be talking a lot more frequently, Liam.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant, mate. I'm going to enjoy every second of this. David?
Well, what really interests me in all of this is when you consider the people who are likely to support vapers in power, i.e. vapers. And when you consider that there are vapers of every political colour going, you've got socialists, you've got Tories, you've got UKIPs, you've got people, I doubt whether there's anybody particularly sympathetic towards the Lib Dems anymore. But you know what I mean. The fact that Liam's going to be standing and is bringing together disillusioned people from all parts of the political spectrum under one particular item. What I think political advisors in Westminster will be telling their parties is that they need to think back 10 or 15 years to when the Green Party started, because that's where the Greens started. Single issue party.
And that's why I'm getting excited.
That's
why I'm getting excited.
And I'm glad also, Dave, that you mentioned the word disillusioned, because we are always hearing about how much of the electorate are disillusioned with mainstream politics.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you know, it could accidentally happen. You just don't know if there are enough disillusioned people there, and the candidacy in your constituency is broad enough. You just don't know what might happen.
I'm half tempted to move to Bristol.
Bristol,
are you? Bristol in my Ford Cortino.
The thing about it is, what gets me more than anything else excited is that this is sending a message to the mainstream parties that there are people passionate enough to be able to fund this. And I'm just looking at chat, and I'm going to say it again, passionate enough to fund this. I'll just nod gently and fade to somebody else.
And on that note, fading gently into the red-headed freak. So you're saying there's people out there furious enough to do it?
Furious, passionate, disillusioned, ready to stick their hands in their pockets and go fund Liam.
Go fund Liam. Here we go. Hang on. There it is. The ever elusive Credito card. It's brand new. That one come through today. I haven't even signed it yet. But
You don't need to sign it. You just need the 3 numbers on the back, Andy, and the long number on the front.
what, the one here that says 007?
Yes, that one.
It doesn't actually say 007. I just want to be James Bond. No, I'm really sort of, Liam, me and you do need to get together and have a proper little sit down face to face, because I'll make no bones about it. You have offered me a position with you in the past, right?
Well, when I broached the subject to you at Vape Fest, you jumped all over it.
Yes, and I've sort of...
Without thinking about it,
I was like, yes!
Oh, yes!
Yes, let's do this! And do you know what? I'm seriously contemplating, because I'm going to have some time on my hands very soon. And I'm thinking the old cogs are whirring, and I'm getting that little tightness of excitement that you get in your belly when something, just a real challenge presents itself to you. Opportunity knocks, I think. Opportunity knocks. We're definitely going to be talking more, fella. Definitely.
Intriguing.
Definitely, because I mean, at the time, I wasn't really in a position to do much about it. I mean, I jumped on it because of that's my sort of thing. I like it. I follow this sort of thing. I mean, I try to keep it off my Facebook as much as possible, but then something will creep through. Something will creep through, and I think this may well be more than creeping through. I don't know. I shall have to. We may have to trade phone numbers at some point very soon, perhaps after the show, Liam. And we'll have a phone call tomorrow evening, I think.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Liam, for joining us tonight. Do stick around and stick your oar in or something if you want to. I'm sure that's all right with you, Mr. Chief.
Oh, absolutely fine. Yes, the more the merrier. Gold grist to the mill, because there's some good stuff to talk about tonight.
Shall we take some ads?
I don't see why not. I think it would be a damn good idea.
Roll VT.
I shall roll VT. It's number 7. Here they come.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Vapors, Dripper just got 40% bigger. So if you love discovering new e-liquids, tell Dripper what flavours you like and we'll send you 70ml of juice and at least 5 flavours. With a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe, dripper.co.uk.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of VapeTrails.tv.
And welcome back. I just blew a dirty great big cloud just before those ads finished. I'm frantically like this, trying to blow it out of the way. Right, ladies and gentlemen, dweebs. Viri. Now, these guys apparently have been moving quite rapidly, and insofar as that they're joining with forces of several European associations. And I use the term associations because a little while back I posted a video which sort of lambasted these sort of things, lampooned them. Now, Viri seem to be, if you'll forgive the term virulent, I mean, I'm a member of the group, and if you're not a member of the group on Facebook, it is open. I've just shut down the wrong link. We have a link for it if we drop that into chat. Now, let's have a look, see how big it is at the moment. Now, there's only 240 in there at the moment, and I'd love to see this expand because the Vapers Independent Retailers Initiative. Now, I've got Keith Hunt, Yoda, in the chat on standby to fill me in with any up-to-date information. So, Keith, if there's anything we need to know, now is the time. But as it stands, there is an email at least being composed which is going to go out to 800 plus vendors, mentioning workshops, meetings, and all sorts of things. And there's even a mention of an ACETA seminar, which will come to at a later point in tonight's show. But well, apparently all over the EU, this sort of thing is becoming quite virulent. You know, people are starting to take up the mantle and, you know, stand up for the little guy, which, for me, is fantastic considering plans I may or may not have. And I think should be quite worrying to any sort of I want to use the term political party, but it's probably not the term. Richard, Liam, David?
I don't think it's so much of a political party as there is a movement of the ants, as you might say. There seems, well, I mean, you can see what's happened in Denmark, and you can see what's happened in Holland. And I know I'm busy as a butterfly flitting about the place this month. I've got 2 meetings in London on the 18th and 19th, one of which is a workshop on the mechanisms of e-cigs with Cancer Research UK. And it's kind of a working group. This is all leading towards legislation, so thankfully there's some input going into that. But yeah, I mean, when you look at what's been going on, what's coming out of the Glance factory with his acolytes and followers and disciples, there's a definite clutching at straws, I think, is the best way to put it. They know we're right.
There is a certain feeling of panic, isn't there? The certain smell of a certain excrement.
They're touching cloth because they know we're right, and more people are coming round to that.
They're not coming out with any new arguments, though. They're just repeating the same old arguments. So if they haven't got any more, you know, toys to play with,
throw them out the pram.
I think they've mostly done that now. They've chucked everything they've got at the wall to see what's going to stick, and just about everything they've come up with has come unstuck within minutes, really, of it being flung.
Hasn't it been bounded about that there is only a few arguments that they just keep going in circles on? Aren't they getting bloody dizzy? Really, how long can you flog a dead horse?
Well, I'm going to say 2,000 years. I'm going to say 2015 years is how long you can flog a dead horse.
Evidently so.
It's ideology, and when you've got people who are ideologically based, where the science no longer touches them, then you see the kind of behaviour that's been coming out of those. What I think Viri is very, very well set to do, especially with this email going out to 800 vendors, is to it's that to educate people who are getting it wrong. I spoke to a stall holder for a broadly cigar-like vendor. I'm not going to mention the name. It doesn't stand for Vapers in Power. Let's put it that way. And they were not aware of what the ramifications of the TPD being implemented in May of next year were for them. They thought that they would have a reduced stock but would be otherwise all right. And when we told them exactly what was going to disappear off the shelves, and the shelves were going to disappear with them, there's something like 20,000 jobs at risk because of this.
Mine included.
Yeah, they weren't aware of this. They had not been fully briefed. And if Viri does nothing else but brief all of the small vendors out there and get them to understand what the TPD can mean if it's implemented the way it's written, and if it's implemented the way Denmark looks to be going, then, once they understand that, then they might fight. What bugs me, and has been bugging me for donkey's ages, are those people like Blue who say, yes, we're doing our best to conform to the requirements of the TPD so that our customers will have something to vape on come May the 21st next year. It's bullshit.
Isn't that just defeatist, though?
Well, yes, they're just looking after their own pockets. The bottom line on it is, as I tweeted this the other day, don't stock up, man up, and fight.
Indeed.
That's what everybody should be doing.
Absolutely. He said a naughty word. Absolutely. I often get told off at work for at least observing what's going on Twitter. And it is a case of, as you say, David, don't stock up, man up, come out swinging. And I think Viri, as you say, is very well set to do such a thing. I mean, there's a potential meeting pending, I believe, for the 8th. I will be quoted on that in a minute by Chief, as I like to call him. He has also just mentioned to me, recently there's been talk about linking a QR code from vendors to the TW Legal Challenge to give better access to for consumers to support the TW Legal Challenge. He's probably sat there giving away with more information for me as we speak. But I think the key here is education for the smaller fella. This meeting is going on potentially on the 8th. I will be corrected in a moment. I shall hear the distinctive bloop of Facebook. It's basically just to put it all together in terms of how they're going to structure everything with all the people that are really interested and want to be a part of it. And I'm presuming how they're going to jive that with ACETA as well. Now, ACETA have got various things planned. We'll come to that naturally. I really hope this meeting goes supersonic, stellar, all the way out to Pluto and back, right? And just absolutely create a ripple within the ants that they've just got to sit there and go, oh damn, these guys are really massing the troops. This is what we need to be doing now. This is what I've been saying this for a long time. I said it to my boss yesterday. I think it's time for me to start focusing on the fight. I've done my little bits here and there, which may or may not have been enough. And then I joined the team here back in September. Well, shortly before that, obviously. And having Liam here has really, really reignited a fire in my belly. I want to do more. Much to the wife's chagrin, I expect. But anyway. It's a vocation, isn't it? What we're doing here at VTTV, shenanigans, RY4, all of it, it's a vocation. We are here to... Go on, David.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, the question's being asked, what happens when TPD comes in, advertising is banned, sponsorship is banned, all of that kind of stuff, you're not supposed to promote, blah, 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 blah. Look, we ain't going anywhere.
Hell no.
We are not going anywhere. That's the bottom line on it. I am prepared to fight for this until my dying breath, and I kind of hope that's going to be when I'm 104. But if it's when I'm 83, that's cool too.
Next week then.
Cheeky sod. No, look. I've said before, I will put everything I have, everything I've got to give inside this frail frame of mine. Everything is now dedicated to the fight. Has been for a long time. Savile backed me up on this. She knows how much I talk about it. Everything's dedicated to the fight, and I will not stop until we win. I want 2.1 million people doing the same thing.
I could not agree more. David. 2.1 million. That's a lot of clout. That's a loud noise. And this is what we need to get behind, Viri. I've just had it confirmed. The meeting is on the 8th. If you could tell us where, Chief, that'd be awesome. Oh, hang on. Bit of change. Apparently, the initial meeting has been possibly moved to the 22nd. And there's more information incoming. I should tell you that in a moment when I hear the bloom. But 2.1 million. That's a lot of people. Hell of a lot of people. Clearly, there's people in there who work in the industry, like myself. An industry I adore. Now, me and Dave were having a chat a little while back about just how much airtime Vapor Trails has had. And it's a shocking number of hours. You remember what that number was, David?
Just shy of 500,000. It's grown since then and broken the 500,000.
500,000 hours of Dave and the team doing their thing to educate. I mean, obviously in the early days it was different. I've watched quite a few old episodes, and that twin brother of yours, or cousin, or whoever he may be, he's a bit of a nutball, Dave. I've got to say that. He's off his rocker.
Yeah, but his heart's in the right place. It's a shame the rest of him isn't.
Yeah, isn't it just? And Viri are taking up the slack where a CETA may not be able to reach, or people may not be able to reach a CETA. 8th is impossible for all interested parties to attend. Okay, so it looks like it's more going to be the 22nd, but do get to the Viri page, even if it's on Facebook. There is a website. I presume we've got the link for that. At least in terms of follow what's going on and shout real loud, because we're going to need to. Now, talking of things like Viri, let's talk about Move. Now, Move is obviously the medical and science side of things, as opposed to the retail and industry side of things. A recent Twitter bomb has apparently hit or reached a potential 2.5 million people. Now, obviously, not all of them are going to be vapors. There's going to be regular everyday schmoes or friends of vapors, relatives of vapors. And that's quite a large number. Certainly more than the estimated number of vapors in the country, or the official number as it may be from ONS. And they're currently working on, again, more emails, and they want to find, well, they want to make a database of surgeons, GPs, medical professionals that are pro, very pro, and I believe they are up to 211 now, if I just consult my notes. 2.5 million. Yes, 211 health professionals officially in approval, according to press release, well, information that I've been given. Quick sort of harken back to Viri would like anyone interested in helping to step forward, especially in the areas of organisation planning, organisation management, and information and database management, etc. So if you're good at that sort of stuff, get on to Viri. There is a guide to assist in looking for emails for people that could be potentially supportive to Move, and I believe we have a link to that as well. Do we, Sam, can we drop that into the chat? Thank you very much, Mediar. Now, this has been penned, I believe, by Keith himself. He's quite involved in a lot of these things. How he's got any time to himself? Like, we're into darts. We really like darts, and we talk a lot about darts. How he gets the time to give me the scores is beyond me if he's doing all this stuff. There is a Twitter now, which is @MoveINT. Move is capital letters, INT is small, tiny letters. I've checked it out. Again, we'll have a link for that. And let's follow it. Let's push these little organisations to the absolute limits that we can get them. Because then that web, that network is out there. Whole of Europe is talking to each other via this intricate little web, or large web, of smaller businesses, medical professionals, smaller medical professionals. They're given a voice. And there goes a bloop from Keith. David?
Well, yes. I mean, the thing about all of this, and I did see somebody mention in chat earlier on that they thought all of the various different organisations should come together as one. It's actually more effective to have them separated, because the likes of Move is the medical professional arena. And they have a voice from a particular angle, which would be more persuasive to the people that are in that particular angle, if you like.
Like Professor Ben, is it Mayan? I'm forgetting his name now. Burton Mayer.
Burnt Mayor, yes.
Yes.
So you're looking at a situation where the members of Move, if you like, the supporters of Move, are more likely to be able to achieve more supporters of Move because their argument comes from the same area, the same arena, the same area of expertise. When it comes down to small businesses, then Viri has that voice. The larger businesses and the more overtly political side, ASITA has that voice. When it comes to the political arena, my trust and hope is that VIP, Vapers in Power, will have a political voice and a publicity-based voice. And we as users have NNA to support, and we can get out there and give the message to users, people on the ground, folks that might be considering and see you with an e-cig and come to talk to you about it. And you can, I'm going to say evangelize, I don't mean it that way, but you can advocate as a consumer to another consumer. It's not to go out and convert, it's just to answer the questions that they may ask.
They're going to naturally have.
Yeah.
When they see something different. I mean, I get it all the time. Dave, you must get it all the time. Sav, Daz, Liam, everybody in chat, you must get it all the time. What are these things all about, you know? They explode. And then you tell people, well, actually, that's a bit of a fallacy. And you give them the truth, inverted commas.
Yes,
Yeah,
the proper
and that's-
facts.
And that's
So-
what it's about, and it's also a thread that's tying, it seems to me, all the segments so far of this show tonight. They're all about individuals, people, us, and it's against faceless corporations and vested interests. And I'm seeing it more and more, the vaping fight, as a clash between those two things, us as people versus. Is it overblowing it to say the system?
No, I don't think it is,
No.
because the system seems to be set up politically, at any rate, but my reading of it, that there would appear to be more emphasis on power and control than there is on servitude and representation.
And fair servitude and representation.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got a situation where you see Millie Bland and Dave, the PM, and all the rest of them standing up there saying, we need the power, we want the power, we want to be in power, we want to be the people that lead. And it's kind of, well, hang on just a minute. You're kind of forgetting that you are meant to be representing the wishes of the proletariat. That is why we elect you to go down to Westminster to represent our best interests. Not what you think our best interests
Dave.
are. What?
Our best interests.
Yes.
We, the people,
Yes.
the spake.
We have put you there, therefore you must do what we ask. And they won't. And there's a sea change coming. I can see it coming. We need to have, I think, enough voices being heard in all of these different arenas. So you've got the expert voices of the medically qualified professionals. You've got the scientific voices of the academics and researchers that do all the academic research into everything there is to know about e-cigs and fags and whatever it happens to be. You've got the voices of the politicians, which Liam's heading up and doing so very well at it. And the likes of Mark Pawsey and the rest pulling together the all-party parliamentary group on e-cigs. That's a great move forward. So the political voice is heard, and then we have the consumer voice, headed up by the NNA. And I like to think Vapor Trails TV plays a small part in that. I like to think, you know, we can rouse the rabble if we need to. So yeah, we've got all of these different areas in which the voice is there to be heard. And I think that makes for a much, much more powerful movement than to bring everything together, homologated into one massive organisation. I'm not sure that that would be as effective as the massed voices of consumers, the massed voices of the small businesses, the massed voices of the larger, more politically active businesses, and the massed voices of the researchers and academics, and the massed voices of the medical professionals. When you've got all of those arenas all singing off the same hymn sheet, all moving in the same direction, that has to be a fabulous power for good and for the longevity of e-cigs. I'm sorry, I'm preaching, I'll shut up.
No. I feel enlivened, actually. And this is why I've forced my way to where I am now, because, well, I get to see that sort of spiel straight off the bat. And it is an absolute pleasure to be a part of this movement. Even if I was a faceless person right at the back of the crowd, I'd be proud to say, yeah, I was there. A couple of comments. We've got Graham Entwistle. I'm not saying your little middle nickname anymore because it confuses me. Apathy is a vapor's biggest foe. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Damn right, apathy is anybody's biggest foe, not just vapors. Too many don't give a asterisk, or
just say toss.
Toss. Or suffering ostrich syndrome. Becky, crowd-based wisdom, millions against experts. Inverted commas. And just for information, VIP up to £746. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. On that,
thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. I mean, we did this last week with Rich Pruitt.
Getting him over to Chicago. We're halfway there.
Come on, £4 more. Let's get halfway there before the end of the show, guys. Come on, we can do this. We are vapors in power. That was really rubbish, wasn't it? Adverts.
Do we do them?
Well, yes, please.
Velvet here.
Get on with it, lad.
LP Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
RY4 Radio.
ladies and gentlemen, quick update. VIP £751. Is that halfway or not, Liam?
That is halfway. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Seriously, thank you everyone for your support. We can just hope that we prove ourselves worthy.
Round of applause to the chat. Best chat in the world, isn't that right, David?
Yeah, well, I've said it, I don't know how many times. I mean, chat is largely what gives me the strength to do what I do. Which isn't an awful lot, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
As I like to call it, the pooples.
Best chat on the planet, bar none.
Indeed. Now, we've spoken about VIP. We've spoken about Veering and Move. Let's talk about ASETA. Now, they're doing something called ASETA Seminars. Now, there's going to be one in Northampton. That's interesting. On the 8th of July. I might try and make that one. Venue to be confirmed. And one in Reading on Wednesday, the 14th of October. Venue to be confirmed. And it simply states as thus. Are you a small to medium enterprise? Do you manufacture, import and or sell e-liquids, electronic cigarettes and or other vaping products? Do you sell online and or in retail shops? Then ASETA Seminars are for you. ASETA Seminars are being held in 3 locations. That's 2. Oh, first stop Leeds. I missed that one. 29th of April. Again, venue to be confirmed. 2015. 3 locations across the UK throughout this year to allow as many of our colleagues as possible to attend. They have been designed specifically to inform and advise members of the independent electronic cigarette industry on all regulations and standards being published and implemented over the coming months. These will have far-reaching consequences, both good and bad, for every business in this sector. The ASETA seminars offer you business a unique opportunity to learn about and take advantage of. I really should be wearing my glasses. Industry engagement with national and international government bodies, important. Implementation of the TPD into member states, again important. Requirements and restrictions under the TPD. Investigating the legal challenge at ECJ brought by Totally Wicked and what happens if that wins or loses. Overview of the regulatory climate, standards activity at British Standards Institute and European standards, intellectual property, a legal perspective on how to IP and how your rights may be affected by the TPD and what you can do about it, networking opportunities with other industry colleagues. Full program available here. And obviously it takes you to a link and all the registration forms, support email, and there are limited places available, so please book your tickets, blah 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 blah. What do we think about that then, lad?
That sounds fairly comprehensive, doesn't it?
It is pretty to the point, isn't it, really? I mean, I'm quite interested in going to the Northampton one. It's fairly close to me. I've got friends up there that I can stay with, so I should be free to attend that, actually.
I think it'd be a damn good idea if you do, actually.
Yeah,
Take copious notes and talk about it when you come back on screen.
Yes. Well, I'll bring the secretary. Wife!
You are in so much trouble when she says that.
She's probably heard it. I can hear her in the toilet.
Oh, God.
Yes, and I'm fairly certain she's just gone, "Oi, you, shut up. I can't, I'm doing a show."
Dead man talking.
Yeah, it's been nice knowing you guys. Love you lots. But seriously, good or bad, it's they're doing their best. Now, to my mind, ASETA look after the big boys, right? The chain stalls, if you will. Currently, I work for one. They are an ASETA member. I wonder if they'll be attending, actually. That'll be interesting to find out. I might ask about that tomorrow. In fact, I will ask about that tomorrow and come back to you guys. David, opinions, please.
Well, I'm not really in a position to give an opinion. My take on it is that the whole thing is likely to be very, very much industry based. They are going to have to talk about the potential for TPD compliance and what that actually means. In other words, what's going to be left on the market. And they are more than aware of what is going to be outlawed. and what's going to be potentially brought in implementation. I mean, we know as consumers what it means. ASITA is bound to know what it means. One would hope that they can persuade their members that they should be prepared to fight. If they are looking at knuckling under, and this is pure speculation, I would hope that they wouldn't be advising early compliance and knuckling under. That has to be part of what they're looking at. But I really do hope that they're pushing their membership to fight. Because we are.
Oh, God,
and if we are, they should be.
I mean, working for you guys here at VTTV and working for an ASITA membership, I hope that my position within the community is nice one, Sav, thank you. That it's kind of at least being given lip service with the higher ups, if you follow my meaning. I know this one can be a tricky minefield of what to say and what not to say.
There is a challenge that we face all of the time of knowing what to say, when to say it, and more importantly, how to say it. And there have to be times, I think, when we just keep our own counsel. There's stuff happening here, there, and everywhere that, with the best will in the world, we can't report, we can't discuss, and we shouldn't discuss because of the delicate nature of proceedings and negotiations and going on. So there's the stuff I'm doing that I can't talk about, other than privately when I need to take advice and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very difficult to talk about what ASITA is going to be doing without ASITA here, and I think that's something that we maybe need to be looking at going forward to get their take on it and see exactly where they're going to be at. If that's going to be of interest to the viewers, which I assume it will be, I don't know. It's never an easy one. It's never an easy one.
But would be.
When you're talking about legislation, I don't know. Do you want to have a look at that House bill?
What, the one that we discovered before the show?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, perfect timing. If we run over this, I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, but I spotted this on Facebook, of all places, from our American compadres. David?
Indeed. Daz, can I ask you to blue box me, please? Because I'm going to put this up and I want to talk over it, and I want everybody to be able to talk over it. This is the House Bill 1432, it says here, and this is from the Indiana, find your cursor, David, the Indiana General Assembly. And what it says is, the digest of it is as follows. That it's about the regulation of e-liquids. It defines e-liquids as a substance that's intended to be vaporized and inhaled using a vapor pen, requires a manufacturer of e-liquid, note that, requires a manufacturer of e-liquid to obtain a permit from the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission before bottling e-liquid or selling e-liquid to retailers or distributors. And cutting it all very short, the license has an application fee of $1,000. It lasts for 5 years. That's $200 a year. It has to be renewed at 5 years, including a $500 permit renewal application fee. It establishes manufacturing requirements, including the use of child-proof caps on e-liquid containers, the performance of all mixing, bottling and packaging activities in a clean room, the storage of all e-liquid ingredients in a secure area, and the maintenance of 3 sample bottles from each production batch for at least 3 years. It also limits the ingredients that can be used in making e-liquid and requires of all e-liquid retailers, distributors and manufacturers who mix, bottle or sell e-liquid in Indiana before July the 1st to either sell or remove from retail all e-liquid that was manufactured before the date of it coming in, or to acquire a tobacco sales certificate. That's pretty much the strength of it. Basically what it's saying is that if you're going to make e-liquid, you've got to make it in proper conditions. No mixing in the ensuite bathroom, on the lid of the toilet, over the kitchen sink, or somewhere that's unhygienic. You're going to pay $200 a year for the right to do that, which seems to me to be quite cheap for an e-liquid manufacturing facility.
Ridiculously cheap.
I actually think that's a great step forward, because it means in Indiana child-proof caps on the bottles, something that I think is not done enough in the States.
Which neatly segues me into this. Darren, if you haven't unblue boxed, if you could. This is an e-liquid bottle that I've received recently. Now, I know the person who made the e-liquid. I trust the guy. I trust this bottle to be unused for anything else other than e-liquid. This is a personal buy. But let's look at it. Now, I don't know if any of you have got tattoos. I know I've got plenty. So I recognise this bottle instantly. That's a tattooing bottle. And this is how easy it is to open it. That's open. Shut. Open. Shut. Open. Shut. Open. Shut. Open. Shut. In fact, if I do this, this is closing. Don't know if you can hear that. That's just going over and over and over and over and over. Not childproof.
Andy, how big is that bottle? How much does it take?
100 ml.
If that had 36 milligram in,
that's my French one.
Yeah, if that had 36 milligram in, that would put Davy Malik in hospital for the size he is.
To be fair, Davy Malik, subnoming, garden centre, stuck in a well next to the drip tips.
Still.
Yeah. He rang me. He goes, "Please send food. I'm hungry." And I went, "No." No, I went, yes, certainly. Yeah, where are you? Okay, bye.
Can they not stick a 5-foot bamboo pole down for him to climb out?
Do you know what? That's what I said. I said, can't you get Paula, his wife? I said, just a fishing pole. You pick them up for like 10 quid from various budget shops.
Question is, would you spend 10 quid on Mina though?
Yes. Dimitri was who I found this from on Facebook. I immediately took a screenshot of my mobile, passed it on to the team, and we thought we'd discuss it. Initially, my thoughts were, okay, this is not good. And the team even said so. Then we looked at it. This is, dare I say it, the start of some form of regulation that is acceptable. We advocate the use of this kind of bottle. Child safe.
Yep. And accountability. And the fact that there's going to be 3 bottles held for 3 years. If anything's going to happen to somebody, it's going to happen in 2. The batches are there to be tested. I actually think that that's sensible, proportionate regulation at a reasonable price. $1,000 for 5 years. Good.
Coming from the States.
I wish they could get me bloody car insurance for that.
I started looking at 4x4s.
No, I think that actually is a step forward. That's a piece of legislation I'm quite happy to see, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of people. In fact, I know there's a lot of people in chat agree with that, and that's based on food standard regulations.
We got a comment. Rob Tavy, some sense in that, but the 3-year rule is stupid. We said our piece on it. I agree with you, David. I completely agree. I mean, obviously, I've got lots of these types of bottles. I was a tattooist once. Well, I say a tattooist. I was an apprentice. And you know, I know these bottles are food grade because a lot of inks have to be vegan for, you know, that crowd. Simple as that. But they're not child safe, and they are intended to be in the hands of professionals.
Professional tattooers.
David.
So very sorry.
Don't make me wag the finger. That's really badly tattooed.
I'm sorry, that was racism. I do apologise.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Time you know.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Let me just say thank you, Liam, for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will be talking to you tomorrow evening without shadow of a doubt.
Thank you. It's been a blast.
Dude, seriously, me and you, Jim Mogan, probably for a very long time. David, as always, thank you for covering Mina's bottom.
Pardon? I've never touched his bottom. I just can't bend down that low.
I know, it's hard, isn't it? It hurts your back.
Well,
head.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
thank you for joining me tonight on such an interesting and scintillating show. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Drips and Tips on a Wednesday. Weird. Good night.
Bye.